Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a mischievous wolf named Grizzle. Grizzle had a reputation for cunning and slyness that spread far and wide, striking fear into the hearts of the villagers. One day, Grizzle hatched a plan to outwit the villagers and satisfy his insatiable hunger. In the heart of the village, there lived a kind and gentle goatherd named Elara. She had a young son named Theo, a spirited and curious kid who loved to explore the meadows surrounding their modest cottage. Elara, aware of the dangers that lurked in the nearby woods, always cautioned Theo about the cunning wolf. One sunny afternoon, as Theo frolicked in the meadow with the goats, he noticed a peculiar set of tracks leading into the dense forest. Unable to resist his adventurous spirit, Theo decided to follow the mysterious trail, leaving the grazing goats behind. Little did he know that Grizzle, the crafty wolf, had left those tracks deliberately, luring the unsuspecting kid into his trap. As Theo ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew denser, and the sunlight struggled to penetrate the thick canopy above. Unbeknownst to Theo, Grizzle silently stalked him from the shadows, his yellow eyes gleaming with hunger. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes caught Theo's attention. He turned to see Grizzle emerge, his gray fur blending seamlessly with the shadows. "Hello, little one," Grizzle purred, feigning a friendly demeanor. "What brings you into my domain?" Theo, startled but not entirely frightened, replied, "I was just following these tracks. They looked interesting." Grizzle, with a sly grin, decided to play along. "Ah, those tracks. They lead to a magical clearing where wishes come true. Would you like to see it?" Intrigued by the prospect of a magical clearing, Theo hesitated for a moment but then nodded enthusiastically. Grizzle led the unsuspecting kid deeper into the forest, weaving through the twisted paths only he knew so well. As they walked, Grizzle began to spin a tale of a legendary goat that lived in the magical clearing and possessed the power to grant wishes. Back in the village, Elara grew anxious when she noticed Theo's prolonged absence. Sensing something amiss, she gathered the other villagers, and together they embarked on a search for the adventurous kid. The meadow echoed with their worried calls, but there was no sign of Theo or the mischievous wolf. As Grizzle and Theo approached the supposed magical clearing, the atmosphere grew tense. Grizzle's hunger intensified, and he eyed Theo with a predatory glint. Just as Grizzle prepared to pounce, a sudden commotion erupted behind them. Elara and the villagers burst through the trees, their faces filled with concern and determination. Theo, realizing the danger he was in, looked from Grizzle to his approaching mother and the villagers. In that critical moment, an idea sparked in his young mind. He decided to use the situation to his advantage and pit the wolf against the villagers. "Wait!" Theo exclaimed, feigning surprise. "This wolf was just showing me the way to the magical clearing. He said there's a legendary goat that grants wishes. Isn't that right, Mr. Wolf?" Grizzle, caught off guard by Theo's unexpected twist, nodded reluctantly. Elara and the villagers exchanged puzzled glances but decided to play along, intrigued by the prospect of a magical goat. The wolf, seeing an opportunity to escape the villagers' wrath, continued with the charade. "Yes, indeed," Grizzle declared, his cunning mind working quickly. "But the legendary goat is very shy. It only appears when there's complete silence. If you all promise not to make a sound, the magical goat might just grant your wishes." Curiosity overcoming their initial suspicions, the villagers agreed to maintain silence. Grizzle, reveling in his cleverness, led them to a small clearing where a moss-covered rock served as the magical goat's throne. The atmosphere was tense as everyone waited in hushed anticipation. Grizzle, maintaining his charade, whispered to Theo. "Now's our chance to escape. When I give the signal, run back to the village, and I'll follow close behind." As Grizzle prepared to give the signal, a distant howl echoed through the forest. It wasn't Grizzle's howl but that of a rival wolf. A fierce and territorial one known as Blackfang. The villagers, now on edge, exchanged worried glances. Just as Grizzle was about to give the signal to Theo, Blackfang burst into the clearing, his fur bristling with aggression. The villagers, no longer concerned about the magical goat, focused on the new threat that loomed before them. A tense standoff unfolded as Grizzle and Blackfang locked eyes, each unwilling to back down. Sensing an opportunity to rid the village of both menacing wolves, Elara stepped forward with a proposition. "Why fight over our village when you can both benefit?" Elara suggested. "Help us, and we'll ensure you have plenty of food without venturing into our territory." The wolves, intrigued by the prospect of an alliance, exchanged a wary glance before nodding in agreement. Grizzle, still mindful of his cunning nature, proposed a plan to the villagers. "We'll protect your village from any external threats in exchange for a share of your livestock," Grizzle declared, his eyes never leaving Blackfang. The villagers, realizing that this might be the only way to ensure their safety, reluctantly agreed to the wolves' terms. A truce was forged between Grizzle, Blackfang, and the villagers, marking the beginning of an unlikely alliance. As the wolves patrolled the outskirts of the village, keeping other predators at bay, the villagers provided them with a portion of their livestock. Grizzle, despite his cunning ways, found a sense of belonging and purpose in protecting the village he once sought to deceive. Meanwhile, Theo learned a valuable lesson about the power of wit and diplomacy. He grew into a clever and resourceful young man, always mindful of the delicate balance that existed between nature and the villagers. And so, in this unlikely tale of deception, alliances, and diplomacy, the village thrived under the watchful eyes of Grizzle and Blackfang. The once feared wolves became guardians, and the mischievous wolf found an unexpected home among the villagers he once sought to outwit. The magical clearing and its legendary goat remained a charming folktale, a reminder of the day when a clever kid turned the tables on a cunning wolf, and forged an alliance that benefited both man and beast.